Hello and welcome to The Gaggle, where we challenge and, if necessary, destroy media narratives. On this edition of The Gaggle, we're going to have a progressive perspective of what's going on in the Democrats' National Convention nominating Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And to discuss that, I have Graham Ellwood, and of course, we have George Szamuely. Graham, talk about this farce that's being played out. Now, look, as I said earlier in another video, this is virtual. I understand the logistic issue. Okay, fine. Okay, it couldn't be more cringe. There are a lot of people that know about television and broadcasting. I would have thought they could have been a little bit more imaginative. Maybe they just are so damn cocky. I don't know. But, I watched Bernie Sanders' speech, and wow, that guy's gotten really light, over the course of a campaign season. To his credit, he's the only one of all the cast of characters that talked anything remotely dealing with policy. And I think that he did such a short form of it, it just sounded like jargon for most people. But I think stepping back, and that's why I wanted to have you on the program here, this is a very strong attack on progressives and progressivism within the party. They don't give one scintilla, 1 inch for anything to invade their neoliberal dystopia. Go ahead, Graham.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a joke. I mean, the whole refusal of anybody without the party, anybody liberal, whatever, to acknowledge the crimes and corruption of the Democratic Party. I don't like Trump, don't like him at all, not a fan. But I always say they want to blame. They're still bringing out the Russia. They're still blaming Russia, and it's just like, are we really back to that? Like, so Putin prevented Hillary Clinton.
It's volume 5, right?
Yeah, it's like I've heard this. So Putin prevented Hillary Clinton from campaigning in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Okay, got it. And then, there's no leadership. There's absolutely no leadership. I mean, Bernie Sanders, who I followed, I went to several of his campaign stops and covered it on my show. He got all these people rallied around him and then quit. And his quitting is like, well, Donald Trump is so bad. Well, if Donald Trump is so bad, then shouldn't your whole campaign be, I'm the one guy who can beat him? That's what a primary is all about. Not just go, my good friend Joe Biden, put your arm around him and not hold him accountable for anything. So now all these Black Lives Matter protests and defund the police. So we've got the author of the 1994 crime bill and Kamala Harris, who put 120,000 people of color behind bars. So and they refuse to acknowledge the crimes. They're mad, and they should be, that unarmed or unmarked vans are snatching people off the streets in Portland. That's scary. Well, who wrote the NDAA? Who signed that? Oh, that's right. That was Barack Obama did that in December of 2011. So, and the progressives within the party just buckle. I mean, Bernie Sanders, I voted for him, but only because he's the furthest left of any mainstream candidate that's ever been out there. But in most of, he's a centrist in Europe.
I mean, Graham, I've lived in many countries around the world, primarily in Europe, and I don't want to give anyone a stroke right now, but most of what Bernie Sanders says is what happens in most of the developed world. It's not particularly safe at all, okay? I mean, and this just shows who owns the political process here. George, the interesting thing is that, it's Trump bashing. Okay, fine. That's part of the process, okay? But policy has to be part of it. Because at the end of the day, George, the policies of Trump and the policies of these Democrats, they're almost the same. Okay, don't talk about healthcare. Don't talk about the incarceration. Don't talk about the scourge of drugs that are devouring the country. They don't talk about things that affect everybody, everyday people. Okay. I mean, you can have these little jingles on stage and virtue signaling. It doesn't change your life. Go ahead, George.
Oh, that's right. And what is most striking, and what has been most noteworthy about what's gone on in the last couple of days, is that the Democrats have been attacking Trump from what would be the right. They're attacking him for insufficient eagerness to get into a confrontation with Russia, insufficient eagerness to get into a confrontation with China. Oh, he's befriending the dictators